While I was in the hospital with a broken leg after a car accident, my boyfriend posted pictures of himself at a party with his ex, captioned, "Finally free from the needy drama queen and her constant demands." We'd been together for years. I didn't comment. This morning, my phone wouldn't stop vibrating with desperate messages and his mother begging me to reconsider. So there I was, laid up in the hospital with a busted leg after some idiot blew through a red light and smashed into my car. Meanwhile, my boyfriend, well, now ex, was out partying with his former flame. And just to make it extra classy, he posted pictures with her, arm around her waist, captioned, "Finally free from the needy drama queen and her constant demands." Yeah. That drama queen? Was me. We'd been together for 4 years. And no, I didn't say a word. Then this morning, my phone practically caught fire from all the buzzing, texts flying in like missiles, and even a call from his mom, begging me to reconsider. So yeah, I've been dating Tyler for 4 years now. And let me tell you, it's been a ride. The kind of ride where the tour guide bails halfway up the mountain, and suddenly you realize you've been hauling everyone's gear and snacks. That's the kind of relationship I was in. We first crossed paths during a community garden cleanup project sponsored by the company I worked for. I'd volunteered, and they stuck me on compost duty. Tyler just so happened to be the team leader. He called himself the Compost King. Not joking. Said it with his whole chest like it was a title of honor. And yeah, there were warning signs, but I brushed them off. There was something oddly sweet about how passionate he was about decaying vegetables. He even had this little speech, something about how breaking down was just the beginning of becoming something new and beautiful. And my overly romantic, plant-loving heart just ate that up. I thought, this guy's deep. Fast forward 4 years, and the only thing that truly decomposed was my self-respect. Let me walk you through it. Tyler? He helped with rent exactly 7 times. 7. In 4 years. And the lease? It's in my name only. Because his credit was supposedly, temporarily, wrecked. For 4 years. He was unemployed more than half the time we were together. Between jobs, he liked to say. And when he did have a paycheck, it vanished into his gaming setup, trendy outfits, and drinks with his boys. I can't even count how often he asked to borrow my car. Way more than he ever asked how I was doing. But of course, I was head over heels, so I made excuses. Told myself he just needed time. He had potential. All that nonsense we tell ourselves when we're busy dating a man-child. Then last week, I got hit by that car. Bad. Broken leg, 3 cracked ribs, and a pretty nasty concussion. The doctor said I was lucky it wasn't worse. But let me tell you, it felt plenty bad. Tyler? He came to visit me once. For 20 minutes. Said hospitals made him anxious and that he needed space to process this trauma. His trauma. From my car accident. And sure, not to make everything about me, but I'm the one who had metal rods screwed into her leg, not him. Thank God for my best friend Jenna. She stayed with me through all of it. Slept in that horribly uncomfortable hospital chair for 3 nights straight. Helped me get to the bathroom. Snuck in decent food. Even washed my hair over that tiny sink when I couldn't shower. That's what real friendship looks like. So there I am, all drugged up on painkillers, when I notice Anna scrolling through her phone with this weird look on her face. I asked her what was up. She tried to brush it off, but I wasn't buying it. Pain meds make me kinda bold, so yeah, I snatched her phone. And what do I see? Tyler. At a party. With his ex-girlfriend, Brianna. Grinning like he just won the lottery. Captioned, "Finally free from the needy drama queen and her constant demands." I just sat there. Frozen. 4 years. 4 years of being there for him, emotionally, financially, picking up the pieces every time he fell apart, tolerating his endless phases, the gaming obsession, his inability to do basic chores. And this is how he thanks me? And what stung just as much? The comments. People we both knew chiming in. "You look great, bro." Or, "You deserve happiness." Not a single one asking, "Hey man, isn't your girlfriend in the hospital right now?" I didn't reply. Didn't call or text. I just processed. And while I was lying there, I remembered something pretty important. The apartment lease? Still in my name. So I got to work. Called my landlord, laid out the situation. Reached out to my brother. Hit up my cousin. Put a plan together. Fast forward to yesterday. Tyler had been coming back to the apartment, while I recovered at Jenna's place. He had no clue what was coming. Phase 1? Execute. My brother and a couple of his coworkers helped me pack up everything Tyler owned. Every crusty old sock. Every rare Funko Pop. Every game console and controller. His prized craft beer collection. Even those precious signed baseball cards he never let me touch. We didn't put it in a box labeled fragile. We tossed it all in the big dumpster behind the building. Not the recycling bin. The dumpster. Let the compost king rot with his trash. Now, maybe that sounds extreme, but here's what you need to know. Tyler hadn't paid a dime of rent in 3 months. I'd been hiding the notices from the landlord because I was too ashamed to admit my boyfriend wasn't pulling his weight. I even picked up extra freelance gigs to keep us afloat. Meanwhile, he told me he was networking. Want to know what he was actually doing while I was laid up in that hospital? Interviewing. For a job I helped him land. Through one of my contacts. He was supposed to start next week. Supposed to. See, the hiring manager? Happens to be my old college roommate's brother. And he got a little care package, complete with a breakdown of Tyler's sketchy financial past and those charming social media posts about being finally free from his hospitalized girlfriend. And this morning? Boom. My phone exploded with texts. Where's my stuff? Are you kidding me? You can't do this. I had valuable things in there. You'll pay for this. Then came the mood shift. Baby, I messed up. I was drunk. Brianna meant nothing. I was just stressed. Please talk to me. I love you. Let's fix this. You're the one I want. But the real kicker? The messages from his mom. She called me crying. Said I needed to forgive him. That he made a mistake, but he didn't deserve to have his life destroyed. And apparently, Tyler told her about the job thing too. She called me vindictive. Cruel. And maybe I am. Just a little. After 4 years of holding someone down who couldn't be bothered to visit me in the hospital more than once, the final straw was him partying it up with his ex while I was figuring out how to use crutches. That was it for me. The lease is almost up, next month, in fact, and I've already decided, I'm not renewing. I'll be staying with Jenna for a while, just until I find a place of my own. And let me tell you, I'm looking forward to having furniture that doesn't carry memories of Tyler parked in front of his game console while I did the cooking, cleaning, and bill paying. It's time for a clean slate. A fresh start. One without controller crumbs in the couch cushions. Do I regret how I handled things? Not for a second. And no, for those wondering, I'm not worried about getting into legal trouble. My cousin's a lawyer, and according to him, since Tyler's name isn't on the lease and he hasn't contributed a dime, he's got no legal leg to stand on. I've also kept records, texts, receipts, everything. Just in case. Physically? I'm healing up. Still got 6 weeks in this cast, but my ribs are mending fast. I'm getting there. Now, a lot of people have asked why I stuck around for so long. And the honest answer? Love makes you do dumb things. He wasn't awful all the time, and those rare good days convinced me the bad ones were just passing storms. Classic story, right? Anyway, I'll have more updates soon. There's been plenty of fallout. For starters, Tyler's mom has now called me 17 times. Voicemails ranged from full-on sobbing to vaguely threatening. And yes, Tyler did show up at the apartment. But joke's on him, I may or may not have had the locks changed. Now, about those updates. Wow. I truly didn't expect my last post to blow up the way it did. Thank you, honestly, for all the love, support, and even the legal advice. You folks really came through. So, here's what's happened since then. Remember how I said Tyler's mom called me 17 times? Yeah, that number climbed to 43 in under 36 hours. 43 calls. I finally answered the 44th one because I figured she wasn't gonna quit until I picked up. Picture this, I'm sprawled out in Jenna's guest bed, leg propped up on a fortress of pillows, stressed snacking on sour cream and onion chips like it's a coping mechanism, because it totally is. Meanwhile, Tyler's mom, Linda, is on the line, switching between crying, guilt-tripping, and passive-aggressive threats for the better part of half an hour. Here's the greatest hits from that 28-minute circus. He's been crying nonstop. For 2 days. I've never seen him like this. Okay, Linda. I cried for 2 days too, right after waking up in the hospital and realizing he wasn't coming. Then she hit me with, do you even know how much those collectibles were worth? Some of those baseball cards were from his grandfather. Right. And do you know how much rent costs, Linda? Because I've been covering it every month, down to the last cent, for 4 straight years. And here's the best part. He was planning to propose. He showed me the ring. Unless that ring was made of unpaid utility bills and broken promises, I highly doubt it was headed my way. She even floated the idea of pressing charges for property damage. But again, my lawyer cousin already cleared that up, it's not gonna happen. Then came the real kicker. Tyler told me everything. About how you've been controlling his finances. How you isolated him from his friends and family. Y'all. I laughed so hard, I legit thought I was gonna bust a stitch. Me? Controlling his money? This is the same man who once spent our grocery budget on a limited edition gaming keyboard. Who borrowed $3,000 for a business opportunity that turned out to be some doomed crypto scheme. A guy who hasn't voluntarily shown me his bank account since 2021. And isolating him? Please. I threw his birthday parties. I bought her Christmas gifts. I drove him to every family gathering after his car got repossessed. But instead of hanging up, I decided to ask her something. Linda, when was the last time Tyler paid rent? She paused. Then said, he told me you two had an arrangement. He handled certain expenses while you covered the household stuff. Oh, really? So I asked. Which expenses exactly? More silence. Then, well, I'm not involved in your financial details. So I told her. I laid it all out, how Tyler had only pitched in for rent 7 times in 4 years. How I racked up $17,000 in credit card debt trying to cover both our halves. How I worked extra hours and weekends while he networked in his pajamas. How I had to pawn my grandmother's jewelry to make rent 1 month because he promised money that never showed up. I could practically hear her worldview shatter through the phone. But he said he's been supporting you, she whispered. He said you lost your job and he was carrying the both of you. Lost my job? I've had the same job for 6 years, and I've been promoted twice. Tyler, on the other hand, has had 7 different jobs in the same time. Longest one lasted maybe 3 months. I didn't argue. Just told her I'd be happy to email over the bank statements, receipts, and screenshots that would set the record straight. I also mentioned the post he made while I was in the hospital, which, surprise, she had no idea about. She said she needed to talk to Tyler and would call me back. Still waiting. Anyway, since so many people asked how exactly we pulled off the great dumpster purge, let me break it down. With my legs still out of commission, I couldn't do much myself. But my brother Caleb? Absolute legend. He and 2 of his buddies came over on their day off, and yes, I paid them, because I believe in fair work for fair pay, unlike some people I could name. We started with the stuff he loved the most. His kingdom, if you will. The gaming setup, triple monitors, custom-built $2,800 PC, collectible figurines still in their boxes. Sports memorabilia that he insisted couldn't be displayed because it didn't match the aesthetic of furniture I bought. And his hoarded craft beers, many of which were probably just skunked at this point. It took 4 hours to clear everything out. And let me tell you, it was like going on a treasure hunt through the mind of a grown toddler. We found random socks under the couch. Half-eaten chips in the nightstand. Receipts for God knows what. At one point, it started to feel like we were excavating a man-child's lost civilization. When Caleb picked up Tyler's beloved gaming chair, his throne, as he called it, and carried it out like he was casting a cursed relic into the abyss, I could have cried from the poetic beauty of it all. We didn't break anything. No slashing clothes, no smashing electronics. We didn't go full revenge mode. We just moved his stuff to where it naturally belonged, out with the rest of the trash. I did hang on to one box though. It had a few important things: his birth certificate, social security card, some family photos, and medical records. I left that with the landlord, who, by the way, was completely in my corner after I showed him Tyler's little social media performance and explained what was going on. The guy even helped me change the locks. Speaking of the landlord, he told me Tyler showed up twice yesterday. First time, just angry. Second time, he threatened to call the cops if he wasn't let in. The landlord's response? Great idea! Let's call them together and explain how you haven't paid rent in months. Suddenly Tyler vanished. Amazing how fast people scatter when the lights come on, like roaches in a kitchen. Now, about that other thing I did. Remember the job Tyler was supposed to start? The one he got through a connection of mine? Yeah, that job was at a financial services firm. He would have been working with client accounts, doing financial planning and all that. Let me just say, Tyler managing other people's money is like asking a raccoon to run your bank. This is the same man who once overdrafted his account buying a video game, then did it again the next day because he forgot he was already overdrawn. Truly a finance prodigy. So I reached out to my friend's brother, who happens to work at the company, and passed along some, let's call it, relevant information. Screenshots of his unprofessional posts, proof of his non-existent rental payments, and a few text messages where he openly bragged about gaming the system to avoid bills. Was it petty? Sure. But honestly, would you want someone like that managing your retirement savings? I didn't lie. I didn't embellish. I just shared facts, receipts, as the internet likes to say. What the company chose to do with that information. Totally up to them. Spoiler alert, they pulled the offer. And that brings us to today. Tyler has graduated from angry texts to soul-searching emails. Long, dramatic essays about how he's seen the light and wants to make things right. Apparently, the whole Brianna situation? Just for show. He says they're just friends, and he acted out because he was afraid I'd leave him after the accident. Now, in these emails, he's suddenly ready to grow up. Ready to pull his weight. Ready to be a partner. Imagine that, it only took a near-fatal car accident. 4 years of me carrying him financially. Being humiliated online. Losing all his possessions. Losing the job I helped him get. Getting exposed to his own mother. All that, and suddenly, the man's on a journey of self-discovery. What a deal, huh? Anyway, I heard from his old college roommate Eli. Apparently Tyler's been crashing on his couch, crying a lot, and plotting some grand, romantic gesture to win me back. Eli just wanted to warn me. I thanked him and told him to keep me posted if anything sketchy comes up. He agreed, and also apologized for not realizing sooner who Tyler really was. Turns out Tyler owes Eli money too. Shocking, I know. I'm stunned. Absolutely stunned. The truth is, I'm just tired. Tired from recovering. Tired from the emotional chaos. But you know what I'm also feeling? Relief. Actual, physical relief. Like someone finally lifted a 200-pound backpack off my shoulders. For the first time in years, I can breathe. Tomorrow I've got a follow-up appointment for my leg, and after that, Jenna and I are diving into apartment hunting online. Lease is up in 30 days, and I can't wait to wipe the slate clean. Thanks for sticking with me through this saga. I'll update again if anything wild happens. Especially if Tyler goes through with this so-called grand gesture. If his track record tells me anything, it'll be either wildly inappropriate, embarrassingly cheap, or centered completely around him. Maybe all three. Edit. Some of you asked about my car. Yeah, it was totaled. Insurance is covering it, but I'm still waiting for the payout. For now, I'm getting around thanks to Jenna and the occasional rideshare. Edit 2. For those worried about Tyler showing up, I've got eyes everywhere. My apartment has security cams. Jenna's building has a doorman. And Tyler? He's a lot of bark, no bite. Man folds faster than a beach chair in a strong breeze. Second update. Hey again, my internet fam full of vengeance-fueled angels. Your girl's back, and phew, just when I thought the chaos was over, the plot twisted harder than my garden hose after a thunderstorm. Sorry, plant lady humor. Can't help myself. First off, thank you to everyone who asked about my health. Y'all are so sweet. My doctor says things are going well. Might even get this cast off 2 weeks early. The ribs still ache when I laugh, which has been, tricky, considering recent events. Now, onto the real show. The grand gesture. Yes. It happened. And yes, it was exactly the sort of cringy, self-centered nonsense you're probably imagining. So, I was chilling at Jenna's, scrolling apartment listings, when her doorman calls up and says there's a delivery for me. We weren't expecting anything, so Jenna offered to go down and check it out. Stairs and I aren't exactly besties right now. She came back 5 minutes later with a face that said you won't believe this. And in her hands? A compost bin. I kid you not. A literal plastic tub. Full of dirt, worms, and kitchen scraps. Sitting on top was a handwritten note that read, "Like compost, our love can break down and rebuild into something stronger. I'm decomposing my old self to become the man you deserve. Please give us another chance to grow together." Y'all. I wish I was joking. The compost king genuinely thought a bucket of rot would win me back. The audacity. The hubris. The complete lack of self-awareness. Jenna and I were laughing so hard I thought I was gonna re-break a rib. She even snapped a photo of me, looking totally bewildered next to this sad, smelly container, and posted it to Instagram with the caption, "When your BFF's ex thinks worms are the way to a woman's heart." Jenna tagged me in that photo with the compost bin, but thankfully, not him. Small mercies. But oh, it gets better. Buried inside the actual compost, yes, in the dirt and food scraps, was a little velvet box. Inside it? A ring. Y'all, it was covered in muck. And once I got past the smell and wiped it off, not even a real ring. I'm talking dollar store quality. The diamond was plastic, and the fake gold band was already turning my fingers green just from touching it. Inside the band? An engraving, April 12th, 21. Guess what that date is? Brianna's birthday. His ex. Yep. The man pulled out a ring he clearly bought for his last girlfriend but never gave her, then stuffed it in a bucket of garbage and offered it to me like it was some kind of love poem. A recycled ring. In a compost bin. You truly can't script this stuff. I sent him one single message. The compost bin is exactly where our relationship belongs, rotting with the worms and trash. His reply? A tidal wave of texts. According to him, the ring was just temporary, until he could afford a real one, and the date wasn't about Brianna. It was supposedly the day he realized he loved me. Sure, Jan. I didn't respond. But Jenna, MVP that she is, took that compost bin, carried it back down to the dumpster, and filmed herself dumping it out. Then sent him the video. Chef's kiss. Now, remember how I told you I sent all those receipts and financial docs to Tyler's mom, Deborah? Well, she finally responded. And when I say responded, I mean she sent an email that read like a live performance of the 5 stages of grief. Denial. There must be some mistake. Tyler told me he was contributing. Anger. How dare you make my son look like this? You clearly doctored these records. Bargaining. If you were struggling financially, why didn't you come to me? Maybe I could have helped you both. Depression. I'm heartbroken that he would behave this way. I raised him better. Acceptance. I owe you an apology. I had no idea what was really happening, and I'm sorry for enabling him. That last one? Had me floored. Deborah, Miss My Son is perfect, actually apologized. I nearly fainted. She even followed up with a call. Just one call this time, not 43. And she dropped some bombs. Apparently, Tyler had been telling the whole family that he'd been supporting me for years. He told them I was unstable, couldn't hold a job, that he was letting me stay in his apartment, and that his car, the one totaled in the accident, was one he'd graciously lent to me. He also told them I had a spending problem, and that he needed help covering my bad habits. For years, he's been hitting up relatives for money using this sob story. Turns out, Deborah has given him over $15,000 in the past 2 years. 4. Emergencies. She's now realizing all of those were total fabrications. She sounded broken. Embarrassed. She apologized again, several times. I actually felt bad for her. I've been there. The man is a professional manipulator. I told her I didn't blame her. He's persuasive when he wants to be. Then she said something that sent a chill down my spine. I love my son, but he needs to face consequences. I won't be bailing him out this time. That, my friends, is what we call growth. Now, for the big reveal that a lot of you have been waiting for, the other thing I did, besides tossing his belongings and blocking his job offer. Let's talk credit cards. Remember that $17,000 in debt I mentioned? Well, turns out 3 of those cards were joint accounts Tyler opened using my info. Never told me. Never made payments. And guess who got stuck with the bill? So I've been working with my bank and a financial advisor to sort it all out, separate my name, document which charges were his. It's a mess, but I've already proven that around $11,000 of that debt was solely his spending. And I didn't just send that evidence to his old employer. Nope. I forwarded it to his parents, his brother, and even our mutual friends, with a simple note. If Tyler asks to borrow money or crash at your place, this is what you're signing up for. Petty? Maybe. But it's also true. And sometimes, truth is the only thing strong enough to disinfect the rot someone leaves behind. Even Brianna, yep, that Brianna, reached out to me on Instagram. She was surprisingly decent. Said she didn't know I was still in the picture and that Tyler had been DMing her for weeks before that party, claiming we were on a break, and that he was ready to move on. She felt awful. Offered to send me screenshots. I told her no need, I've tortured myself enough, but thanked her for the honesty. Then last night, Tyler showed up again at Jenna's building. Doorman didn't let him up. He's getting a gift basket. Tyler apparently caused the whole scene, yelling in the lobby about how he just wants to talk, how it's all a misunderstanding, yada yada. The doorman called the police, but of course, Tyler bolted before they got there. Then came the voicemails. 37 of them. In 2 hours. Please, just talk to me. I can explain everything. I was gonna pay you back. You're ruining my life. I have nowhere to go. My mom won't even let me stay with her. I'm sleeping in my car. What car? His got repoed months ago. And then the most concerning one. If you don't call me back, I might do something desperate. That crossed the line. So I called in a wellness check. I had Eli's address, and the police stopped by. They said he was fine, emotional, but not in danger. They advised him to seek mental health support. A few hours later, I got a text from Eli. FYI, Tyler's not staying here anymore. Found out he stole $200 from my wallet. Changed the locks. I mean, just wow. Even when he's spiraling, he's still taking from people. Still lying. Still stealing. Some things never change. So, where does that leave us? Tyler is couch surfing with increasingly distant acquaintances. His family's done. His friends are jumping ship. He has no job, no stuff, no credibility. And me? I'm healing. Every day, a little more. Both my leg and my heart are on the mend. I found a new apartment across town, smaller, quieter, but honestly it's even better. Cheaper, too. A little gem I never would have discovered if all of this hadn't happened. Jenna has been my anchor through it all, steady, supportive, and fierce. My family's been incredible, rallying around me like a human safety net. And my job? So understanding about my healing and recovery time, I couldn't have asked for better. I'm still angry. Still bruised, emotionally speaking. But more than anything, I'm relieved. Like I'd been held underwater for 4 years, and I'm finally taking that first, full breath again. This will probably be my last post. I'm shifting my energy toward the future now, less looking back, more moving forward. But before I log off, I want to say thank you. To all of you. For the comments, the advice, the laughs. You turned what felt like rock bottom into a place where I could start rebuilding. This community became my unexpected therapy. Final update. Hello for the last time, internet family. It's been 1 month since I hit post on my very first update. And wow. What a month. As promised, here's the final chapter in the saga of Tyler the Compost King, and how I bloomed after 4 years of being buried under his emotional debris. Let's start with the basics. I moved. I'm officially settled in my new apartment. It's cozier than my last place, but it has a little balcony where I've already started my container garden. The building has an elevator, which is crucial when you've been hobbling around in a boot, and security cameras, which are also crucial, for obvious ex-boyfriend-related reasons. Best part? My cast came off 2 weeks early. I'm still rocking a walking boot, and physical therapy is no joke. Seriously, I sweat more there than I ever did in spin class, but I'm mobile. I feel like I have my body back. Also, my car insurance finally came through. I bought a used Ford. Named her Freedom. Yeah, I know it's cheesy. I'm leaning into it. Now, for the juicy part, the final act in Tyler's drama spiral. After my last update, things took a final nosedive before they calmed. Tyler, realizing that crying, guilt-tripping, and love-bombing weren't working, decided to try public shaming. He made a GoFundMe titled, Homeless After Girlfriend's Revenge, where he painted himself as the innocent victim of a vindictive ex, who tossed out his heirlooms after a minor argument. He even used a picture of himself looking pitiful on Eli's couch, the same couch he got kicked off of. He asked for $5,000 to get back on his feet. It lasted all of 6 hours. Jenna, my brother Caleb, and a small army of our mutuals reported it for fraud. A few heroes even dropped links to my original Reddit posts in the comments. I never shared them with Tyler. Clearly someone else made the connection. When the scam got exposed, Tyler snapped. He showed up at my old apartment building. I was already staying at Jenna's, thank goodness. He caused such a scene that someone called the cops. According to neighbors, he was shouting about defamation and demanding entry so he could get his stuff. When police arrived, he tried to tell them he lived there and I had illegally locked him out. Plot twist, the landlord was there and wasn't having it. He confirmed Tyler wasn't on the lease. Tyler couldn't provide a single piece of mail or ID tied to that address. Several neighbors backed up that I lived there alone. Then things really unraveled. The police ran his ID and found out he had a warrant for unpaid traffic tickets, $200 worth. Tickets I had never seen because, shocker, he'd been hiding the mail. He got arrested. Not for harassment, but for the debt he tried to keep buried. Spent 2 nights in jail. And guess who bailed him out? Not Deborah. His brother. Apparently, that arrest was the wake-up call. According to mutual friends, Tyler has since moved in with his brother, who's making him pay rent and work at his company. Most importantly, Tyler stopped contacting me altogether. No more midnight voicemails. No long emails about how he's changed. No more compost metaphors. The silence was suspicious at first. I kept waiting for some new stunt. But then Tyler's brother actually reached out to check on me. Yeah, I was surprised too, and confirmed that Tyler's in therapy and, apparently, committed to turning things around. And part of that, the brother said, was leaving the past behind. Translation: his therapist told him to stop harassing me. Now for the most important part, my own healing. I started seeing a therapist too, shout out to my job's insurance, and it's been a game changer. We've unpacked some tough truths. Like how I didn't just stay with Tyler because I loved him, I stayed because fixing his chaos gave me purpose. How I tolerated the red flags because I was scared of being alone. How I bailed him out over and over because I thought his scraps of affection were the best I could get. It wasn't easy to face. I cried so hard in a few sessions that I thought my ribs were going to refracture. But I'm finally seeing things clearly. One last unexpected moment of closure came from Deborah. She invited me to lunch, chose a place with ramp access, which honestly felt more considerate than anything Tyler ever did. And over that meal, she owned up to a lot. She apologized again for not seeing what was happening. Told me Tyler's dad had the same patterns: emotional manipulation, financial irresponsibility, and she feared she had passed that down by not confronting it. I found myself comforting her, which was weird, but strangely healing. And then, at the end of lunch, she slid me an envelope with $2,000 in cash. "This doesn't come close to covering what he owes you," she said. "But it's what I can do." I tried to refuse, but she wouldn't let me. "This isn't from Tyler. It's from me. Because if I raised a man who could treat someone like you that way, then I failed, and I want to make it right." So I accepted it. And used it to furnish my new place. My space now? It's full of light, plants, and not a single reminder of Tyler. I'm free. Thank you, Reddit, for witnessing this chapter of my life. Your support, advice, and occasional tough love helped me stay strong when I wanted to cave. You reminded me that I deserve better when I forgot.